Electrocast.
Last week on Ghost Hampton, upstairs at Old Vic, Mateo confronted a room full of dead prostitutes guarded by a wicked demon. Down in the parlor, Lyle is possessed by a demon who curses in Greek. Outside, the court reporter waits with his camera. Later, Lyle and Mateo share dark secrets at a diner.
Detective Georgie Hall's White Imperial, an aircraft carrier-style throwback, is parked across from the East End limo service, situated on an otherwise deserted road near the Hampton Bays railroad station. Berto, a handsome young guy who recently took over his uncle Sabado's business, is suspected by some of killing the portly man to assume control of the homemade syndicate, despite his inexperience. Georgie watches the dilapidated structure and its attached carport for any signs of what Berto actually does in there. This surveillance is her first assignment as detective. She tells herself better assignments and more promotions lie ahead. If only she hadn't been given this big white car. She also wishes Chief Quealy would dispel the rumor that she ranked up because he needed to promote a woman. Berto's crew-cut head may be seen occasionally passing a window. Georgie takes note of who and how many stop by the old limo depot at night. Usually it's two men, often in a Toyota, who pull around back in the rutted parking area and eventually reappear in one of Berto's past their prime limos. The rap on Berto is he's using the car service as a shield to deliver prostitutes and drugs while taking hard-working service providers to their jobs. Same thing again tonight. Same two guys leaving together well after midnight. Why two? Counterintuitively, the car slows down as it passes Georgie. The driver with the shaved head is known by police as Mr. Clean. The passenger, older and sporting a 1950s pompadour, they call him Trini Lopez. Tonight they both sneer at Georgie and Trini Lopez makes an obscene gesture before Mr. Clean guns it and she watches the limo rattle away. Berto must have told them to do that. Just as Georgie is dissatisfied with this assignment, Berto is frustrated that the surveilling cop is a woman. She seems like a nice-looking blonde, but Berto calls her that bitch cop to remind the men of his masculinity. Formerly one of his uncle's lieutenants, Berto had a reputation as a pretty boy who'd been given the job but could not do the hard work. He was even suspected of providing sexual services, though no one's proven that. Not long ago, Sabado stopped coming to the office, and Berto started to sit behind the big guy's desk. He also sprouted a thin goatee that distracted from a new wound, like the slice of a knife in his chin. It appeared around the same time Uncle Sabado went on his extended vacation, Berto says, to visit family in South America.
Hall speaking.
Detective Hall, Barsati.
I know. What?
Are you at the observation point, Detective?
Yes. What do you want?
It's your father.
Speak, Frank. Use words.
There's a situation in Bridgehampton. Campers, people with tents. They're setting up a tent city around your father's house.
Excuse me?
Earlier today, he filed an appeal for a stay against the town, blocking them from demolishing Old Vic.
What? That's not like him.
Yeah. Southampton Press ran a story saying he thinks Old Vic is haunted. Story went online. Around sundown, people started arriving from all over.
What the hell do they want?
They want to meet Lyle, and they want to meet his ghost friend.
Oh no. His ghost friend?
Jewel. Are you online?
I am now.
Frank waits while Georgie reads the Southampton Press story.
Frank, how many campers we talking about?
Maybe 100 in your dad's neighborhood. On his lawn, too. They're peaceful, but there are more moving in around Old Vic.
How is my father?
Okay. Saw him a little while ago. Cops helped him into his house. He looks kind of beat up, though. Had spider webs in his hair.
Oh my God. He was inside Old Vic?
That's likely. Georgie, there are the story.
There's another pause as Georgie scrolls down.
Oh my God. What the hell happened to him? And what's with that priest? Giving Lyle last rites?
That's Matteo Zeri, a priest from Southampton. He apparently broke into Old Vic with Lyle earlier. Seems like he gave Lyle CPR.
No.
There's something else.
Frank is met with silence from the other end.
So, I stopped by the station house. I'll be doing a double overnight. The women's lockers are in with the men's, you know?
I think I noticed.
Well, there's a balloon stuck on your locker door, with a ghost face made with a black Sharpie.
These guys ever going to fucking grow up?
There's a post-it that reads, Boo.
Innovative.
It gets worse. Georgie, the balloon's a condom.
The lights are turned off now, the better to observe the bitch cop. Berto raises his binoculars and focuses on her face. Sure enough, illuminated by her iPad screen, she's good-looking for a cop. Blonde hair, blue eyes too. Her dark eyebrows show how intent she is on her screen, not her stakeout. So Berto takes his time studying her face. Her finger tucks a stray lock of hair back behind a delicate ear. Berto places his binoculars down. He takes a tightly rolled $100 bill and snorts up a white mountain range off a tray, throwing his head back and shuddering. Then he stares out at the cop car and the blonde, his imagination running wild. It's after midnight now, and Lyle collapses on his couch. The two young cops assured him they'd be watching his house just in case. Outside, the campers have bifurcated. Some have turned in for the night. Others, the younger ones, have lit fires in garbage cans and stand around sharing haunting stories. Lyle even hears the start of plastic tub banging, rhythmic thumping accompanying some obscure chant, and it reminds him of back when protesters camped out in Manhattan's financial district in what was called Occupy Wall Street. He worries Big Frank might be right. What if it is a long haul? Lyle dozes off on the couch, his chin on his chest, until there's this insistent rapping on one of his front door sidelight windows. It won't stop, but Lyle is too tired to get up and answer it.
Whoever it is, come back tomorrow.
Hello? I'd like a word with Lyle Hall, please.
How about never?
I know it's you, Mr. Hall, and it's imperative that we speak right away.
Imperative, Lyle thinks. Yeah, right. He does adjust his position on the couch to get a better look at this interloper through his sidelight windows and can see she's carrying a briefcase. Not a camper, a lawyer. She's hefty in a dark pantsuit, her hair done up in a matronly Lady Bird Johnson style, fake pearl choker actually choking her jowl. It dawns on Lyle he did not lock the door like he meant to.
May I let myself in? This won't take a minute.
She jiggles the doorknob and Lyle feels a chill. She knows it's not locked. How? Lyle also knows he's too pooped to do the work of getting up, yelling at her and locking the door. She seems like a civilized adult. And there are cops outside, right?
Only if it won't be a minute.
Before he finishes his sentence, the front door swings open and in she strides. Another huge mistake on his part. What if kidnappers are hiding behind her? She shuts the door.
Mr. Hall, I am Florence Hendricks. I'm here with a compelling offer for you, and no kidnappers.
Oh no? Maybe next time.
Lyle senses something squirrely here, but is too exhausted to deal with this visit. The woman seats herself next to him on his couch, opens her briefcase and hands him a business card.
Call me Flo, Mr. Hall.
How'd you know my door was unlocked?
It's my job.
Lyle squints at her card. Besides the usual contact info, it's pretty exotic. Impressive even, if you care about this stuff. Beneath her name it reads, Parapsychology, Paranormal Investigation Etiquette, Clairvoyance. Beneath that it says, Member National Parapsychological Association. The card sports mystical symbols too. A circle, a plus sign, a wave, a square, a star. At the bottom of the card is her motto, professional help.
I don't know what any of this means.
You will. We have to talk about that old house and what you've been experiencing.
You probably know more than I do.
Possibly, but you, Mr. Hall, are the experiencer.
Experiencer? Oh, you may as well call me Lyle. Lyle is fine.
I think, and those I work for think, that this apparition is about to explode on a national scale. All the people convening outside are your proof. TV news trucks are pulling up as we speak.
It'll all blow over.
Well, we believe you would not have stuck your neck out this way if there weren't something very important about that house, old Vic. Like something personal?
Lyle just stares back at her.
Want to tell me what it is?
I just met you. And who is we, the Parabola Association?
We is FearCom.
Flo nods over at Lyle's laptop, still powered up on his desk, still holding the main page of the FearCom site he'd been exploring.
Them.
To Lyle, all this makes Flo seem like the woman who knew too much, but he tries to underreact.
Right. So what do you do exactly?
Exactly what you need, Mr. Hall. We fight garbage like this.
Her screen displays a story from the Southampton Press. Its headline, Controversial Lawyer Moves to Save Haunted House. He glances at Flo for a second.
It's Lyle. Lyle is fine.
Then he delves into Mose Allen's report. It's extensive and it's all bad. Worse still, some of it is correct. Mose reminds leaders of Lyle's many legal imbroglios, especially his responsibility for poor Elsie Cronk's death at age 85 in a tragic collision with his hubristic Hummer. And then there's Lyle's long history of selling people's property to Hampton's land developers, always profiting handsomely. And how he's now back, sort of, in justice court, having made a lawyerly 180 in his wheelchair to save a menacing old hulk, widely held to have been a brothel from the township's wrecking ball. That's kind of accurate, but Moe's tone is derisive. It gets worse. Mose goes on to write that, asked why he'd ever do this, Mr. Hall indicated he believed the place was haunted. Shocker. By what? He believed it was a girl. Mr. Hall also thinks he briefly saw her face, heard her name too, Jewel. The story ends predicting Lyle will go to court to stop demolition and perhaps bring a co-complainant, one only he can see. Scrolling down, the story's been updated. There are pictures of Lyle and Matteo Sherry in the yard behind Old Vic. Matteo giving CPR to a clearly fucked up Lyle. Both men turning to the camera. Lyle, his face scratched up and crisscrossed with strings of spiderweb, screaming at the photographer. Mose provided appropriately vindictive captions. Lyle does not make eye contact with Flo. He focuses intently on his rack of embarrassing lavender dumbbells, mayhem on his mind.
Lyle, violence will solve nothing, but you can fight this. It'll only get worse from here, with a corporate partner that straddles both the high-end media world and the world of paranormal apparitions, both those real and imagined.
Lyle is not interested in a corporate partner.
And I should add, if FearCom says something is real, it is real.
So you can shield me from being misquoted? Present me in a positive light?
You read my mind. You, your priest friend, even your ghost girl.
This could all blow over tomorrow.
Incorrect. This story has legs. People love this stuff, believers and non-believers alike. For instance, they're already calling Matteo Sherry the Maltese exorcist on the internet.
Matteo believes Lyle was demonically possessed when inside Old Vic, but Lyle's not about to give that up.
He's not an exorcist, but I will admit, there's a personal component to my legal action, which will remain private.
Flo stares into Lyle's eyes.
Yes. Did Jewel indicate to you that your daughter might die suddenly in the near future?
Lyle reacts as if the wind's been knocked out of him.
Shit, lady. Where'd you get that?
And your legs? You've received hopeful signs of strength returning to your legs. Hope of returning to full...
Flo's complexion suddenly flushes pink. Lyle finishes her thought.
Full function. Yeah, why not? What I want to know is how on earth do you know any of this?
You saw my card. Basically, you need professional help.
Sorry, Flo. I'm not your typical client. What would you want from me anyway?
Flo extracts a contract from her briefcase, places it in his hands.
Exclusivity. That simple.
Lyle makes a distasteful expression as he reads through the document. Outside, the random thumps on plastic tubs have coalesced into a chant with a beat. 5 hard thumps, then a group of youthful voices chant in unison, "I saw her face." 5 more thumps, then, "I am a believer." Lyle finds it stupefying and embarrassing. They're his words. Also the monkey's lyric.
So only you could interview me? No one else?
Correct. No more moes or any other hacks, and we repair your reputation with lots of positive coverage.
What's this about television appearances?
Right. Fearcom is branching into broadcast TV, and your your story, I should say, will be our debut production for a national audience.
It's after midnight. The chanters outside keep chanting. Lyle tries to tune them out.
Nope. Sorry, Flo. I don't do TV. And I can hire bodyguards if I have to.
You'll be interviewed by one of the best in the business. Bodyguards don't do that. She's a rising star on all media platforms who intimately understands the paranormal world. She has a huge following, and she's an accomplished interlocutor.
Flo looks up at her screen. So does Lyle, with great interest. She has a photo up, a classic Hollywood-style 8x10 black and white. The raven-haired subject is flat-out gorgeous, but not just pretty. There's something about the mischievous glint in her dark eyes and the slight curl of her upper lip that promises some bad girl fun if one were lucky enough to get close to her. Her dark tresses cascade down to the shoulders of a black leather jacket. Lyle has spent a long time, very long by his accounting, without female companionship. Matronly Flo is not his type. She reminds Lyle of that girl Phyllis in the Office sitcom. But this young woman is a wholly different story.
Who is this?
This is Silk.
Silk. She would interloculate me?
Yes, on television. You could also travel to special events and work them together.
The thumping deadbeat continues outside. It is annoying.
Special events?
Yes, special.
Lyle tears himself away from the picture of Silk.
Where do I sign?
Hi, it's me, Flo. Remember me from Ghost Hampton, the podcast? I was secretly in love with Lyle Hall. Well, now I'm dead and loving it. But let's talk about you. If you loved listening to Ghost Hampton, you can now spend the summer in the Hamptons. The original episodes are back, and now new episodes will be dropping every Friday. I may drop in too, just to make Lyle feel guilty. Ghost Hampton, the podcast, is now streaming everywhere.
Electric